can get some living benefit. Thank you, Mr. Reed. 754-204-2498. 754-204-2498. Mr. Garfield Reed, ladies and gentlemen. John, thank you for holding. You're live with the president. Go ahead, my friend.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Morning. Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Boy, we're good, you know. Yeah, we're good, man. We're good. Nashika just walk in. It's like she gonna put on extra makeup because she want look super hot to come sit beside me. But we're good. We're good. How are you, my friend?
About one people,
talking
about politicians
you're not connected
who came to their own Jamaica and been treating the people them. I mean, I don't know what to say. What I want to say, I can't say it over the radio.
As long as you don't cuss no bad word. As long as you don't cuss any bad word, you can say what you want to say.
Yes, for decades. And I've been telling you, I said, if you listen to that song, Jimmy Cliff sing when you work your program with, listen to the song and listen to the word, and you see what we're facing now from the youth, then in Jamaica. Just listen to the song, listen to the words of the song then, what Jimmy Cliff put out. 10 years ago, you know. And between the politicians, the criminals, and the police them at Jamaica, this is what we have now. So we must try to solve it now, because we're not going to solve it from the time when it was downgrade, but now it upgrade. We must try to solve the problem with the kids them at Jamaica now, with the children them at Jamaica. Because if we're coming now, we didn't listen to it. Because this is how, when you treat people wrong and treat people bad, this is the reaction when you get. You have to say it. I keep telling you a long time. Jimmy Cliff do the music. Then.
All right. I appreciate love it, my brother. Give thanks.
You know.
Yes, sir. All right, John. All right. 561-449-8000. Doc.
John, let me say this to you. You're not the only one who came up with these. You're not the only one who came up with these gems, you know. We have a lot of gems out there, and when you think about culture and all those guys, they sang some serious songs, not only Bob Marley and Jimmy Cliff, you know. But it's important that we find them and remind them. But the problem is that they have so many songs that are so weird. They seem to take the weird song over the song that would give a message. They don't want a message song. They want who go for joke here, joke there, do that, whatever over there. And they're really not thinking about the future. We have to clear that mindset, brother. And that is the big deal. Otherwise, nowhere in the safe. That you could hide in your head, you could hide wherever, you're not safe. Because children will go out and for a glass of water, somebody box it out in them hand and then feel they must do something about it. And that does not come from just, it comes from lack of home life, but it also comes from a lack of a village life. And a lack of conflict resolution.
I think you hit the nail on the head. 561-449-8000. Call you live with the president.
Mr. President, I want to pray a little bit thing for me.
Yes, sir. Where's the mic?
Go on, my brother, how you doing, Mike? We're there.
But hold on there, Mike. Question though. Did Buju Bonton come out publicly and did a media campaign and say, you know what I did was wrong and nobody not supposed to follow my footsteps? Did he ever did that? Me not think so. Me not think me hear nothing like
No,
that.
that's what he's saying. He's saying he never did anything to let the youths know don't follow in my footsteps. But when you think about it, remember Minister Marion All, I have to struggle because I just, love their old persona. Minister Marion All tried to reach out to the younger ladies to say, we don't have to have our music be so raunchy. We don't have to have our music be so raunchy. And she really took some hit back from the music community. And I don't think she really had the support, one, of the music community, and two, even of the Jamaican people, because people were saying, who are you to be talking about them when you did the same thing? And what she was basically saying is, yes, I did it, but I'm telling you guys, look at what happened as a result of me doing it. You don't necessarily have to take that same path. So I think more so than just the DJ saying it, society as a whole need to also be behind it. Because I can tell you, I didn't tell you, Prezi, because I didn't plan it, but I just spent my weekend back home. And, some of the things that I heard, one of the things that I heard was just like, how did we get here, and just our beautiful island. But from a societal, perspective, how did we get to the point where we just accept certain behaviors as norm?
Well, I can answer what. Sorry, you want to say something, brother? No, I can say to you that I come to you in a minute. That it horrifies me, honestly, when I see the behavior of the children. But when they don't have the guidance, we must give them that. They don't have the guidance at home. Somebody said that is not the right way. Here's the right. Sit down and have a talk, not a quarrel. Sit down and have a talk. How do you resolve a conflict? You don't have to fight. You take away your pencil, take away your mango. But you don't have to fight. There are other ways. Your brother, your sister, or your auntie, your uncle, you know what I mean? And sometimes they say something, they're under pressure too. Make them understand that other people can be under pressure, not really you. But it's the circumstance that causes the problem. And if they can understand some small tenets of conflict resolution, which means you gotta back off, the other person gotta back off. Then I'm gonna give you one quick story. I know there's a lady managing a place, right? And she's managing for so many years. And she manages for so many years, and so she feels she's Lord Almighty. You understand me? You can't tell her anything. But it so happens that we are going into the 20th and the 21st century, so things change. That's the important lesson I want here.
Yes, I also studied NLP. One of the things we learn in NLP is the modalities and the questions to ask. I don't think we learn in Jamaica, for the most part, how to communicate effectively and express our feelings without being violent to the next person or very angry at the next person. There are some basic questions we need to ask so we can understand the way you feel and how to communicate these feelings in a productive way. I think we are lacking some of those skills, so we can learn how to communicate effectively and express our feelings without feeling hurt or feel bad. But I don't think we necessarily know those questions to ask and the skill to approach those things.
And I think you're right on the money with that, because a lot of our kids are learning how to do things off of social media.
Correct.
And that is not necessarily the best teacher, because they're seeing some of these behaviors and it becomes such a norm and so acceptable, that they think it's okay. So, all these factors are playing into that.
But it never. Yes.
Oh man, that is a very interesting one. So take the answer of the year, Michael. Appreciate love it.
Good question, Michael. Good question.
All right, Buju Bonton and his visa. Well, number one, the question is this, and I heard someone say the question that Buju Bonton's son died, And, so he didn't get it on the basis of compassion. So they didn't get it back as a result of that, because his son is being buried in Jamaica. So it's not unless, of course, he wants to come and put down a bouquet at the place where he died just to have a memorial. It doesn't matter where he's going to be buried. I don't know. But what most people believe, it's because of his gift and his talent that someone like, they mentioned DJ Khaled. That DJ Khaled, wanted, because they have a new one, they call it, they have a new one, what was it? The Messiah. I think they have this new thing coming out where they kind of like go back playing like a role of Jesus in a way. They have a new film or docudrama coming out concerning that. So what they're saying, it has something to do with his creative ability. So if you have a bunch of attorneys that write letters to the immigration and enforcement people and say, hey, listen, man, there's no other Buju Bonton. He's the only person that can bring this vibe and flavor, and we have this great economic opportunity for America and so many Americans, and this one guy who have paid his debt to society, even though he's a felon, convicted felon, then you should give him that visa to come in the country. That's what I think. No. What is my opinion? After Nashika, I'll tell you.
You threw me right. So I'm a Gargamel lover. When I heard that Gargamel was back in the United States, the first statement I made, it's not 10 years yet, because you're so used to, after deportation, after a period of time, and I believe it's 10 years, you're able to reapply for somebody or so on and so forth. Now, to your point with the fact that he has special talents, the United States does have in their immigration clause the 2% clause, where if you're in the top 2% of certain profession, athletes, and so on, you're able to get yourself. As a matter of fact, I think you can even file for a green card, and an immigration attorney can fact check me on that. But you're able to get certain visas. Now, I think
At least get it.
I think, and listen, man, I would love to go to a concert with Gargamel and Beres coming the end of the summer. I would just love it if Gargamel pop up in the concert for Beres, because I'm
so you're saying he's going to be at best of the best?
No, the concert where Beres have down at the Performance Center down in Fort Lauderdale. I just want to, but that's I'm biased. I'm biased because I'm a Gargamel lover. However, I also think, it shines a light as what we've always been saying. Big man have the money, so I'm the boss. Sometimes,
No, but you sang that.
Listen, same thing now. Listen, me tell us is a Gargamel lover. So I am excited at the fact that I can see Buju in concert, but I'm also, a little bit in trepidation at the fact that different rules apply to different people based on how much money you have or where you are in society, and so especially in a situation where we're so immigration tense.
Peter, what do you think about the Gargamel get back in visa?
It's a good thing if you can get it. If he has a good lawyer and he can present the right clause to the government to get it, fine.
Dr. Francis, and your thoughts?
I think that Buju is a great artist. Let's put it that way. I felt that his incarceration was kind of unfortunate. Unfortunate. He was a good artist. He had his ways, talented. He had his ways, but he was a decent person underneath it. I don't know how some people just get caught up. They didn't have him for no violence. Nothing like that. His words were more prophetic than anything else. Even when he was talking about some slack stuff, right? He was not like out there. You know what I'm talking about. And so I enjoyed him. He was very, him and what's the other one name? Trailer with a girl's name? Shabba, yeah. I mean, his name alone sounds Shabba, but his music is good. He got to move. So these people have to give them credit. And so he spoke about life. He also touched on a subject he should not have touched on. That's one of the reasons he got messed up. You know which one?
Interesting. Driver! Michael, you have 30 seconds, Mike. Go ahead. Like again. Say no more. Yeah, that is absolutely the case, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of times we turn a blind eyes because the musician is talented or the athlete is talented. But let me tell you this. As much as I say, a lot of you out there, I say, free world boss, free cartel. You know, the boy lizard for dead man, the boy lizard, the boy lizard inform. What kind of foolishness that? The cartel can tell us, you know, can make it sing a tune on a beat where you like. You're going to say, him can still kill with impunity. And then you're going to say, he's totally innocent. I set him up. And everybody know Buju was wrong. Buju, no same wrong. And let me tell you this. Me just see the other guy. What name again? Ivy Jet. A lot of musicians, ladies and gentlemen, them still deal with drugs. Them still scam. Them still thief. They might make the music, you know. But let me tell you something. Most of them, not most of them, a lot of them are not ethical people because they don't get rich fast enough. Because the music not have the traction. So guess what happened? They get an easy road because them show up at the airport and them smile and nod. And somebody say, yeah man, go through man, you're an artist. Because especially when you Friday Friday person see the passport. And then they say, oh I know this guy's song. You know, he must be a saint. And then I am bringing the drugs. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Wrong is wrong. Alright? And there's no way we can celebrate. We're going to take a quick break. And we'll be coming right back. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Mr. Wilfred Rattigan, retired FBI agent, and what's going on in New York. You can't miss this. Soon come. Show lineup for you. We got our good friend and no stranger to believe in, Mr. President, none other than retired FBI agent Mr. Wilfred Rattigan. And as we've been telling you, in New York this coming Friday there will be a protest to really highlight some of the issues as it relates to what is happening in Jamaica. Now, Mr. Rattigan is here, joining us here on Good Evening, Mr. President, to talk about this particular event in New York and what it means for you here in the diaspora. Because let me tell you this. I know you said, Mr. President, you know, I knew this I keep. It's irrelevant to me. But that's fabulous! Make sure you come out at Manhattan this Friday morning, sir. Because I know you run New York, you know. I know you run New York. Alright? And I know you tell me about Buju come to the show in a Philly. Alright? So I want to make sure say you and the whole crew, Paul, you too. I want everybody listening in New York understand. But I soon come appeal to you. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's us introduce one more time to Good Evening, Mr. President, our good friend, Mr. Wilfred Rattigan. Ratty, welcome back to Good Evening, Mr. President, sir. How are you doing, my brother? Yes, sir. So I was informed that a press release was issued in the Jamaica Gleaner yesterday, Sunday. And a lot of people didn't sleep last night because they want to know how on earth you slip through the filtering crack that try to filter the press so that the press don't get the accurate information. Tell us about what that press release was about, and then a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening in New York on Friday.
Yeah, sure. The press release was essentially some issues that affected and are still affecting Jamaicans living in Jamaica. Not to say that we in the diaspora aren't affected by by the 10 points that were in the press release, but the primary people affected by the 10 points, they're living in Jamaica. So what happened was we made an application to put it in the Gleaner, and I'm hearing now that there is a lot of uproar about it because it shouldn't have been there in the first place, because it doesn't put the government in a good light. And it shouldn't, because otherwise it wouldn't have been a protest. You don't protest about something that's good. You protest about things that are bad. And so, for example, we said that the things that are affecting affecting the people of Jamaica and damaging brand Jamaica are things like the Prime Minister's promise to all of Jamaica that you'll be able to sleep with your windows and doors open, and that promise has not been fulfilled, and that's a fact. The promise, the idea that you have a leader who established an anti-corruption agency in 2018, the law passed in 2017, and that is, he has 2 statutory declarations, meaning his financial declarations, showing where his money came from, how much money he has, and how it's tied up. Those for 2 years, 2021, 2022, and now we're looking at 2023. They have not been verified by the very anti-corruption agency he established. That's a fact. A third one is that he himself, the Prime Minister, asked Mr. Christie, the chair, the person who heads up the Integrity Commission for anti-corruption and good governance training. He and the cabinet received the training. And then the Integrity Commission says, okay, now that you've received the training, we need you to sign this document, a code of conduct. And it contains 7 principles of good governance, like selfishness, or unselfishness, transparency, accountability, leadership, honesty, things of those nature. And they refused to sign that document, even though they had the training on it.
So hold on. It's like when you just you had a slip of your tongue. You're saying this government established a moral high ground that these politicians should live by, but nonetheless they refuse to sign it. They just do it as a show. But when they say, okay, then sign your name to these standards that you have put in principle, you're saying they refuse to sign it? Interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the type of foolishness that nobody else wants to talk about. Because a lot of people love to talk about the Jamaica government and some of the things that is happening, but nobody's taking any action. No, Ratty, I know. A matter of fact, I saw something. We're not giving any credit to anybody, but an opposing individual, release another press release today or yesterday, trying to counter what is happening in New York, and they even put you as a picture of a rat and say, a matter of fact, I'm sure you have seen it. I see them say, Eternal Father. I think you've entered into the Jamaica anthem. What do you have to say to these detractors? You sound like you have seen it.
No, but when I saw it, I thought, how disrespectful of our Jamaican anthem, to tell you the level, But go ahead, Mr. Rattigan.
To any anti-protest or whomever, if they want to show up, they're perfect. It's a free country, and they're perfectly legal. I would not. In fact, I wouldn't oppose it. They have a right to speak. They have a view to share, and if they want to do so, I have no objection to them coming out and expressing their views. That's fine with me. But I'm not focused on them. I'm focused on trying to get the government to do a course correction for the Jamaican people at home and abroad. And like I said, I am not into politics. I'm not into regime change or anything like that. I want the government to do a course correction, right? This was a duly elected government, and I want the government to say, you know what? We promised the Jamaican people that we would do these things. Let's do them. That's what I want.
But some people say you are beholden to Mark Golden. That Mark Golden have you on payroll, and that you are bought and paid off by the People's National Party. Isn't that true, Mr. Rattigan? Aren't you paid off by the People's National Party?
And what I say to those people is that since you're making the allegations, come with the proof.
Okay, and I say bring the money, come, since I want to play the money. Alright, we take the money and go and vote you out.
information and character. And so I sit back and I just let them talk, and then at the right moment I strike. Because I said to them, look, if that is your allegation, if you truly believe that the PNP government has bought and paid for me, then show the evidence. Show the evidence.
And I like what you said, show the evidence. But talking about that, so I hear Isaac said, why there's something about Ratty. Whenever you file any paperwork with the Jamaican government, for some reason, Isaac said, why he would file a dozen paperwork and then put him in a file 13 heap. But once I see your name show up, it seems as if everybody get their act together. What is it about Wilfred Rattigan that evokes fear and trembling in the heart of a corrupt government?
Well, I wish I could tell you about the fear and trembling and the evocation of all of these in somebody in the government. I wish I could tell you. I don't know, but it's just, I guess it's just persistence, because I follow the rules, you know. And so the rule, they say, look, you file an ATI, you're supposed to get a response. You're supposed to get an acknowledgement notice and a response within 30 days. However, the government has or the agency has the prerogative to extend for an additional 30 days. So you're talking about 60 days in which to get a response, right? And if I don't get a response during then, what do? I file with a tribunal. There's a tribunal that you can appeal to. And I filed with the tribunal, and I'm proud to say I filed 3 actions with the tribunal, and before the tribunal could get to them, I got my answers. So I think what's more prevalent, the idea that's prevalent is that I am persistent and I'm a persevering person. I don't give up. Just because you don't answer me, don't think I'm going away. I'm coming back, and I just keep knocking. And at some point, I'll end up filing a lawsuit, because I'm not afraid of doing that. And in fact, I'm known for doing that. And they know that I'm a very serious person, and I'm not turned off at all, because my FBI class 87.3, the motto was lean into the wind, and I do it every day.
Absolutely. But so I've seen a new document that is taken out against Paula Llewellyn and the DPP, that you're filing some paperwork. Can you explain to the listening audience who is Paula Llewellyn, what's the DPP, and why you're taking those actions?
All right. Ms. Paula Llewellyn is the Director of Public Prosecution. She's the Chief Prosecutor in Jamaica. And the allegation is simply this, that she has violated a lot of canons, meaning a lot of the provisions, the guiding provisions for lawyers in Jamaica. Here's what she did. In the Vibes Cartel trial, she became aware that there was a juror who was bribing the entire jury. One person bribing 10 people. There are 12 members, but one person was dismissed. So this one person was offering money to everyone to vote not guilty. And so the judge had a hearing in his chambers, and he brought in the four women of the jury, and she told them, she said, look, I even have it on tape, and this guy is bribing everybody. And the thing that they should have done at that point was to say, dismiss the jury, let's call it do a mistrial, let's start all over. But the DPP, Ms. Paula Llewellyn, she said, no, we want to move forward with it, even though she knew that the jury pool was possibly tainted. And then there's a case, it's Michael Manley versus the Gleaner. In that case, it was discovered that Michael Manley, the plaintiff, and the foreperson of the jury, they belong to the same union. And what did the judge do? The judge dismissed the entire jury, not just the one person. Who you could have said, well, there was a team. The judge dismissed the entire jury panel all over.
So you're saying there's precedence in this particular case.
And that's what she should have done. But some of them may say, well, it was a bad judgment, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? A few days after the hearing, the Vibes Cartel hearing in London before the Privy Council, she was interviewed by Nationwide Radio, where she said this is something she do all the time. I would say no, because now we have to go back and look and see if there's an innocent person in prison as a result of what she did. As she said, she's worked with tainted jurors before. We don't know the context of it. We don't know what exactly happened. So we need to look into that. So we're saying no. This is unbecoming of an attorney, particularly a prosecutor. So the paperwork is ready, and we're going to file it with the General Legal Council, and that's the governing body for attorneys in Jamaica. And I'm sure I'll get a few, a lot more support than I'm thinking of right now, because the word is getting around. And the more support we have, the more likely that they will conduct an investigation into her. Now, once they've done their investigation and she's disciplined, let's say, for example, they said, okay, you're going to be suspended for a year. You know, in Isaac's case, remember the suspension was they said, we're going to suspend you for a year. Then what it means is that the idea of her being a DPP is over, even though she's not a DPP right now because her term ended last year, September. But this will just once and for all put the case to rest, because you cannot have a DPP who doesn't have a license to practice law. A DPP who can't practice.
See, you see.
Go ahead.
No. Finish your point.
This is an attempt to say what is good for the goose is good for the gander. If you can hold other people accountable for violating the canons, then there's no reason why you can't hold this person liable as well, or hold her accountable. She's not above the law. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, it does seem to some people that you are doing this politically, for a political reason, because she seems to represent the Labour Party, and then you are helping, aiding and abetting the People's National Party. What would you say to people like that?
Say that it's done for political reasons. What they're doing, they're reflecting their reason for criticizing me. It's purely political on their part, because listen, I left Jamaica before I could even register to vote. I'm not a member of any political party.
I am.
Never been. And in fact, I only became interested in fighting for my people, I'd say about 2 years ago. That's it. So when people say, oh, it's political, it says to me that maybe they are political. And that's why they're saying it, because there's nothing political about fighting for justice and truth and rights. Because I challenge them, I say to them, tell me one thing, point out one thing that I've done or I've said that is not true. Just put the political thing aside. Just say, tell me, what am I? Tell me, point to one thing and say, this is what you did here, it's not correct. And then we can have a conversation. But you see, what happened is that when they can't fight the facts, they try to tarnish the personality. That's what they do. So they come after you, and then, so what? It's a distraction. So now I have to defend myself as opposed to advancing the cause. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to be...
Let me tell you something. I read in the Bible just last week. They crucified Christ, and I talk about who crucified. No matter who crucified, they crucified him. And I guarantee you that what is happening in Jamaica, we're crucifying our own. We don't know that we're doing it, We think we're doing it for others, and we think we're doing it for good reasons. But I am telling you, the majority of persons also want to sit down, watch other people do the work, do all the setup, do everything, take all the problems, all the stress they have, and sit down. And we win, yeah, I know so the boy could win. Oh, you see me tell you say he couldn't win. But me I said, Lord have mercy. Why don't you get up off on a rumpel till skin and get up there and try to do something to help Jamaica? We need it bad. And when you come tell me about we are bring down brand Jamaica, I don't know say bad. Me went to see some people on some aeroplane. I go up on the airplane, the woman them talk. And when them I tell who fi do what, me I tell them all me blush. And me black like a star. So you can imagine, right? I was so embarrassed. I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, we need a dawning of a new day. We need a balm in Gilead. And we better give it before it's too late. People threatening people to talk to them rights. Marcus Garvey, let me tell you something. I can't know, but I know what Marcus was going through in 1905. Can you imagine? A whole lot of bad people behind him.
You know, Captain, I'm glad you brought it up because I was about to make that point that I was about to make it to President and the listening audience that tell me one person you know of who does not have a detractor or an enemy. Tell me one person. I say, as great as Marcus Messiah was, he had his detractors, he had his enemies. So who am I to think that I am going to advance a cause and everybody's going to love me? No. No, power does not like to be challenged. And that's what we're doing. We're challenging the power structure. We're saying, look, you made promises and you were given the power to fulfill those promises and you have not. You have failed the people. And therefore we need to, and by the way, this is not our first step, because we've tried to reason with them before and say, listen, let's sit down, let's reason together, let's see how we can make things better for the people of Jamaica. And we were just rebuffed. Captain, example of it, we were rebuffed. So now we said, you know what, enough talking, let's take it to the streets, let's take it to the courtrooms, let's take it to the corridors of power. Let's see if we can effect change, because here's what happened, President. For a long time, I sat down and I watched what was going on in Jamaica, and I criticized everybody. But then it dawned on me one day that, look, don't be a part of the problem, be a part of the solution. Mm-hmm. So instead of criticizing, if you have something that you think might be worthwhile to the development of Jamaica, then step forward. And that's what I've done, and that's what I'm doing. I'm offering self and service. And people suffering in the diaspora now. And if you read that diaspora policy, you will find it says that the diaspora in Jamaica, they're supposed to get together and take care of people living in the diaspora as well as those living in Jamaica. But you know what, President? Mm-hmm. Right? I asked them, I said, have you read the diaspora policy? The answer is no. I said, have you read the terms of reference? The answer is no. And I said, so then we can't have an intelligent conversation. What this is now, it's a teachable moment. You have to sit and listen to me, teach you. We can't have an exchange because you don't know what's in the document. So how can I talk to you about that? I have to teach you.
Ratty.
And that's where we are.
Ratty, you know, I hate to say to Ratty. If I think you were fair-skinned, I don't care who want to vex with me. If you're fair-skinned, nobody would have bucked you. If you was like, Ciara and Brogan, yes, man, the black man must chat foolishness, cannot be talking the truth. You understand me? And I don't care who want vex and who want please. Right? Me black and me won't stand back. I mean, every time all our children out there, me see what a black pilot, who a black this and scientists and all that sort of thing. And the whole herd from this world come from us. So why should I be afraid?
Interesting.
No.
Yes.
Thing that drives me, right? That gives me the fuel, that makes me so passionate about this thing is that I'm doing this for your children, President, and your grandchildren, and same thing for Rupert, and same thing for the young lady in the studio and everybody. But President, I am also doing this for me. I want to see the changes in my lifetime.
Yes.
Oh, I hear about 20 years from now, changes will come 20 years from now. No, President, I want to experience that change. I want to become the change that I would like to see.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Good Evening, Mr. President. 103.7 on the FM dial, 99.5 HD2. El President inside the resident. Got Queen Nashika is in the house. She still wanted to be called Miss Nashika. We got Dr. Rupert A. Francis. He's taking house call. And we got Peter, the scientist, in the room. But of course, on the line, we have attorney at law, Mr. Wilfred Rattigan. He is a man that make the government of Jamaica tremble in their boots. And I know they love to listen to the president and try to send threatening messages. But believe me, I'm not a fearful person. I tell you guys all the time, I don't walk alone. I don't walk alone. I walk under the protection of the Almighty. So no weapon that is formed against me shall prosper. And every tongue that rise against me in judgment, I will condemn. And that is the heritage of those who fear the Most High. But ladies and gentlemen, Rattigan is the name. Whenever they hear the name, it drives fear. Clovis, are you may talk? Drives fear in some of these people that spine start tremble. You understand? Because guess what happened? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. Unless and until you challenge, Peter, you love that? Unless and until you challenge the status quo, nothing will change. Because the people of Jamaica for too long have complained and complained, but they need another prophet. They say, send us another Marcus. Send us somebody who is willing to make the change. And I give God thanks, and thanks to the Most High for the mindset, for the heart, for the passion that Wilfred Rattigan have. Ladies and gentlemen, and you know, say if the president say, may love where Rattigan do. Clovis, me know y'all listen. Hey! Clovis! Me see you call me, brother. Call in the program, Clovis. 561-449-8000. Clovis, call. 561-44. Yeah, I see my call. I name this. Clovis, call Clovis. Hey! John, go ahead. You're live with the president. John, go ahead. You're live with the president. Yes, sir.
Tell you a while ago, I like when you speak the truth. Don't stay on one side. Speak the truth, and I like the program when Mr. Radigan blew up a while ago. I love it. We need more of that, man. We need more of that. He served the people in Jamaica, man.
All right, 561-449. That's right. 561-449-8000. Clovis, we're waiting for your call. Thank you, John. 561-449-8000 is the number. 561-449-8000 is the number. Carlos, Clovis, we want to hear what you have to say. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we need people with a mindset to challenge the authority. Because let me tell you this. Challenge the status quo. Because let me tell you this. Marcus Garvey life never easy. And it takes the type of sacrificial leadership to make some decision. So let me tell you this. Clovis and everybody out there who have an opposing viewpoint, this is an open platform. 561-449-8000. I like what Rattigan do.
No, he's doing a good thing.
No. Nashika, come on.
No. He's doing
You talk too soft, man.
Because he's doing a good thing.
Yeah, I said because you look so pretty today, you have to talk soft. You don't have to talk soft. Everybody know you have to get regular.
You don't know what me do this weekend when my vice gone.
Oh, you're there, Jamaica. I know you're up here.
She got some vibes that you don't want. I can't take. I know I said nothing. I don't use my little language. I mean, my
by the way, where were you? How comes you guys didn't join me down there? But no, seriously, on a serious note, Rattigan, like he says, he's doing this for our children, our grandchildren, but also for himself because he wants to see this realized. You know, like I was saying, I went down to Jamaica. Jamaica is such a beautiful country.
Yes.
You know, I mean, coming back, I'm like, oh my God, I have to leave this. But you think about some of the challenges that we have in Jamaica, and we have to do things so that we, even as residents, can feel safe to return home. You know, can feel safe from the crime, safe from the corruption, and for the love of God, to know that we have health care, that if something happens, we don't have to worry that we're gonna die for something that is so nonsensical. So he's right on the money, and I think you know, there has to be people in government in Jamaica who wants the greater good. You know, people just need to sometimes self-sacrifice. We think about, our politicians going into office and coming out with money. But then you have people that are living in extreme poverty. You know, so what is that all about?
Are you trying to say that the goodly Prime Minister wife did not make those investments that enrich them? How dare you say that about the goodly Prime Minister?
You never hear me mention Prime Minister or I'm painting a broad brush of all of our corrupt politicians that are taking.
So what if Rupert is a corrupt one?
You better say Rupert is a corrupt one. You leave Dr. Francis alone. Leave Dr. Francis alone.
You're hiding it after.
Dr. Francis.
Where you have the money, Francis? How much gold in gear?
What?
How much money gold in gear? Tell you that truth. How much gold in gear? Hey, I'm collect money from Golden, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. And good evening, Mr. President. 561 449 8000. And listen, I am trying to find Dr. Clovis Nelson, and he's a man afraid to talk, you know. And he wants to make the case that Rupert has swindled some money in an offshore account, and we are about to find out more about that. Rupert, story come to bum. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back on Good Evening, Mr. President. We're going to take a quick break. For those of you in the queue, keep it locked. 561 449 8000. 561 449 8000. This is Good Evening, Mr. President. 103.7 on the FM dial, 99.5 HD2. We take a quick break. I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Welcome back to Good Evening, Mr. President. Yes, June 1st. That's going to be our fundraising event at the Veterans Park. And of course, El Presidente is my event. And I want you all to come out and support it. All right. So I'm going to be on the mic as a No Matter Body's MC. And for those of you who don't know, most of you know, I'm probably one of the only guys here who have MC'd more Grammy Award artists than anybody else on the station. I don't know. And I took more now, but it's true. Okay. It's true. It's true. I am, typically flown all over the world to MC event, and I'm never do it for them for free. So please, Veterans Park, please come out Saturday, June 1st. It's a fundraising event for our charity Free Spirit Outreach. And you'll be hearing more. I'm going to bring in a couple of the team, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about some of the things that we're going to be doing in Jamaica at the end of June. We're going to Jamaica, as we do every year, doing the back to school. We're also doing the health fair, and we want everybody to support. We're trying to raise far more money, but I want to big up my entire team for working so diligently to ensure that we're able to pull this off. All right? So you'll be hearing more on the event as we draw closer to June 1st. And also, I'm working on something else, but I'm soon telling you. So we have an interview with an artist that's coming to town. We're working on it. And I think she's absolutely a rising star. She just got a big endorsement by a major beverage company. And so things are going fair, but we're supposed to be talking to her right here on Good Evening, Mr. President. I can't say anything because we don't confirm everything yet. So keep it locked to Good Evening, Mr. President for all of that and more right here. 561 449 8000 is the number to call. 561 449 8000 is the number to call. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I had a brief conversation with Dr. Clovis Nelson while we were on commercial break, and Dr. Nelson is unavailable to come on here to provide comment at this moment. Nonetheless, I do believe he himself is also a patriotic Jamaican who kind of see things differently from Rattigan and the team that's working to highlight some of the things that's happening in New York. I know we've talked a little bit about some of the bullet points, but specifically, Wilfred, thank you so much for holding during the break. But can you tell us a little bit, what can people expect in New York this coming Friday? What will be happening? Where will it be happening? And what format it will be taking?
East 42nd Street, and that's at the corner of 2nd Avenue. 2nd Avenue and 42nd Street. Once you get there, you can't miss the crowd because we have been given one lane of traffic by the NYPD to protest in. They expect a large gathering. In fact, they expect a larger gathering than I anticipated. And they said, look, we don't want you on the sidewalk because it will be impeding pedestrian traffic, so we need you to stay in this lane of traffic that we're going to cordon off for you. So what do I expect? I expect it to be a family affair where people are going to meet each other that they haven't seen in a long time. We're going to reminisce, we're going to joke, we're going to have a fun time, and at the same time, we're going to be serious about the issues. From 9 to 10, we will be exchanging pleasantries, meeting and greeting, carrying on. But at 10 o'clock sharp, that's when the event will start. The festivities will end, and then the real program will start then. And we will have the national anthem, we'll have a prayer, and we'll have none other than one of the leaders in our group, Dr. Rupert Francis, to open up the event. And we have a sound system out there. They'll be providing us with message music, Bob Marley, Burning Spear, Peter Tosh, Bunny Wheeler, and so on and so forth. And we will intersperse the music with speeches from members of the team. We will also have some time set aside for people in the general public to come up and say a few words about what we're out there for. And we're out there for good governance, essentially. I mean, that's a...
Mr. Rattigan, why are you taking away my stage? I have the mini agenda here. Yeah, you should be sorry. Anyway, I'm a friend, right?
For the purpose of holding government accountable. We will be protesting all the things that I mentioned to you earlier, but we will be protesting things like, in addition to that, the corruption, the big C in Jamaica, the corruption, because Jamaica is a corrupt society. Oh, by the way, the minister of the minister without portfolio in the office of the prime minister with a responsibility for information, Minister Robert Morgan, he did an interview a few months ago, and he said that he said he wasn't afraid to call my name, which tells me that he's afraid to call my name, because you don't make a statement like that. You just call name, right? And he said that I survive on a steady diet of misinformation, something to that effect. That I'm not telling people the truth, and that negativity, he said. Steady diet of negativity. And all of my programs, he said, they're negative about Jamaica. And let me just make one quick correction. I'm not negative about Jamaica. I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica people. I am negative about the governance of Jamaica. That's what I'm negative about. How it's being run and by whom. They have, and if you don't believe me, look, just pick a ministry and look and see what's going on. Look at education. There's a study that came out recently that said, an international study that said Jamaican students are performing below par. And I mean, says on, the study, they must contradict the study, right? The Auditor General and JAM, they came out and they said 1.7 trillion Jamaican dollars unaccounted for. And I mean, says so, them says so, right? The government, when it was in the opposition, vying for the election in 2016, in their manifesto, they said, look, we're going to solve the water problem. And then they came into government, and then in 2020, they came up with another manifesto where they said, we're going to solve the water problem. Have they solved the water problem? I leave that to the people who don't have any water to answer that question. But all I'm doing is that I'm just raising these issues to say, look, these people in government, they really don't have the interest at heart. Look at how heartless they are with the 200+% raise for legislators and a paltry 20% for the people actually doing the work, civil servants.
Interesting. So in New York, if a person show up, like for all people listening in New York right now, if they show up to the protest, will you have placards, or will there be like shirts? Will there be beverage? I guess you said that the NYPD is involved, so I would believe that there is adequate security available for any counter protests and the like. But what can people expect showing up to the event? You mentioned sound systems, and you also mentioned an agenda. Dr. Rupert did. But what else will be there? Will any of those things be, or should people build their own placard and come and say, what can they expect?
100 t-shirts. The t-shirts are for sale, $25 a pop. And it will go towards the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation, the funding vehicle to hold government accountable. We will have placards there for free, but you can bring your own if you want, but just keep it clean. We don't want anything that's defamatory or anything that's slack or anything like that. If you're going to talk about, if you're going to protest about policy, let's put up the policy and things like that. But some people, they might get carried away. So we're gonna be looking at some of the homemade placards then, for example, and the ones that we deem to be unsuitable to be shown in public, we will clearly address.
So you're saying you're not there to tarnish Brand Jamaica. It seems as if you're saying you're there to polish it and kind of help rebuilding back confidence in Brand Jamaica. It seems as if that's what you're saying.
Prezi, think about it. I don't have any power, I don't have any position in Jamaica. I can't mash up Brand Jamaica. Who's mashing up Brand Jamaica? The government is mashing up Brand Jamaica. All the things I just enumerated to you, I don't have a finger in any of these things, It's the government. So what we're saying is that you guys are mashing up Brand Jamaica, and what we want to do is highlight it, because we would be it would almost like criminal for us to stand by and watch what you're doing, mash up the country and mash up Brand Jamaica and not say anything and not take a stance. So we're taking a stance in the hope that they will do a course correction. They'll realize the errors of their ways. And we know this. And we're hopeful that they will stop lining their pockets and start taking care of the people. They have promised prosperity, but they have delivered poverty.
Interesting. So real quick though, because we're pressed for time and this is very, very interesting. But someone did say recently that in order for Jamaica to change must come from the outside to really change Jamaica. Is that a prophetic statement in a sense where people in the diaspora seem as if the responsibility have fallen on the shoulders of people in the diaspora to really, really hold government accountable, because the people who are in the midst of the situation, they're probably not even seeing, because they're so busy trying to get by and getting life going, they can't even spend time to focus on that. But people from the outside, just like watching a domino game or a chess game, the person outside, the observer, seem to see more moves than the person who are actually in the game. Is there a false equivalency about outside impact that can do more justice to the change in Jamaica? Or is it?
Worried about what is he going to eat, how is he going to feed his family, where is he getting money from and all that. And so his focus is on his immediate needs. He doesn't have the time, and a lot of them, they don't have the understanding to really look and assess, dissect, and analyze what's going on as to why they're in that position, because they only want to address their immediate needs. People from the outside now, we can look, and by the way, that's not a cut and dry statement, because there are people in Jamaica who can do exactly what we're doing here. But I think the thing that's most prevalent in all this discussion that we do, it's almost like the elephant in the room. It's prevalent, but we don't talk about it, is fear. The people in Jamaica who see what's going on, they're fearful of doing anything about it, because Jamaica has look, you say something bad about the Prime Minister, or them come grab from underneath your bed. They can't find 200 what most wanted, But you go make a bad statement about the Prime Minister, they will find you and drag you in front of the camera and have you apologize. Well, we in the diaspora, we don't have that fear. We don't have that fear. We can just go out and just protest and say whatever we want, say within reason, of course, and make our voices be heard. So we are seeing it, and not only that, what we have is, we have some talented people in the diaspora, and we have access to certain things where we, in fact, sometimes we know what's going on in Jamaica before the typical Jamaican finds out about it. And I can't begin to tell you how many times people have come and said, I'm learning so much about Jamaica, what's going on here. I live here in Jamaica and I don't know half of the things. You learn from, you and other bloggers and journalists and all of these people that I hear from, because I'm here and I don't even know what the hell's going on. So we have to enlighten our people. We have to inspire them. we're going to ask them to do something in solidarity with what we're doing. We haven't decided yet. But whether it's wearing a white shirt or we're not going to tell them stay away from work, that's a no-no. But there's something that we're going to come up with that we're going to tell them to show solidarity with us because we're all in this. Back to Jamaica and retire. And they retire elsewhere. I know people retiring in South Africa. When you ask them why, they say, no, I can't deal with Jamaica. I can't deal with how the country is being run. So, again, I'm not here talking about change government or nothing like that, or party or nothing. I don't care. In fact, I've lived in PNP neighborhoods and JLP neighborhoods before I left Jamaica, before I even reached voting age. So that is of no consequence to me. Here's what's of consequence to me. How people are living.
Absolutely. We just have a few more minutes, Mr. Rattigan. For people who can't make it to New York this Friday, but would like to get in touch with you, do you have any means, if a person is listening and would like to make a donation or just like to get some more information, is there a website or a social media handle that they can look to get information? Oh, okay. Say that a little softer. OJ.
Legal Defense Foundation.
And that's .org. Absolutely. Man, that's such a good idea. I like that. I like the idea, Dede. That's a very good idea. I love that. They take the day off just to be there. I love that. Well, and let me tell you this, if Marcus Garvey didn't use the media, if he was afraid of anything, he wasn't afraid of people. And let me tell you this, we got to use whatever vehicle is available. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, thank you so much for joining us here on Good Evening, Mr. President. On the phone, we're concluding an interview with attorney at law, Mr. Wilfred Rattigan, and he is the head of the OJLDF, the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation, and they're holding government accountable this Friday in New York. There will be an organized protest. Permit have been secured by the NYPD, and there will be a very organized, safe, and an amazing protest where people are petitioning their government for change. And as Mr. Rattigan said earlier in the interview, his interest is not political. All he wants to do, country oldness can stay there for 2 more terms, or whatever statute there is. All he wants them is to stick by the rule and be held accountable. Nashika, what do you think about Mr. Rattigan's approach to helping highlight some of these things and galvanizing support in the diaspora to really challenge the government, to really step up to the plate and be accountable, and so we can put trust and confidence back into governance?
Like I said, when they started this a few months ago, going into Miami with Mr. Rattigan and Dr. Francis, sometimes when you reach out to the government and the government is not responding, you just have to go to alternative means, and that's where we are right now. We just have to go to alternative means and, hopefully persons will come together with members of the diaspora, and let's have that discussion that the diaspora has been asking for. So hopefully some good will come out of this.
Absolutely. Peter, you probably won't be in New York, but do you think, a protest like this can have an impact, or is it just we just beating our gums?
And of course, I mean, accountability is the key, and sometimes people are blind to the facts, so therefore bring sense of awareness to it, to the, as we say in NLP, develop a well-formed outcome to see what we want and go for the goal there.
All right, Dr. Rupert, you will be in New York, and I know you are very excited about New York. And as we conclude the program today, what are your thoughts on what takeaway you want people listening? What do you want them to take away from this discussion as it relates to protesting your government, really, seeking some kind of redress for some of the harm and the wrongs that have been done to the people? And I know you've been an advocate for that, and I'm literally stalling to give you an opportunity to find your bullet points, but time is against me, so you're gonna have to wing it this time, my brother, because I can't go deeper with it.
I just want to say that we want to have a very good time. We want to have a good time, and I want to pray and hope that people come to their senses and recognize that this is a call for change in Jamaica. And as a result of that, I will just read a little thing that I love to read. It's the benediction.
We're at 30 seconds.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you, and to be gracious unto you. And the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. That's all I ask.
And that is a great prayer for Jamaica. Wilfred, you got 30 seconds with your final thoughts. Go ahead. Thank you so much, Wilfred. Nashika, any big up or burnouts this week for you?
Big up to Splendid Bar and Grill right off the road of Mobile. I stopped there on my way from the airport to my final destination, and let me tell you, the Manish water turn up. The Manish water really, really turn up. So that is located, I think it's called Carl Garden Highway.
You know why it turn up?
Why it turn up?
Listen,
man.
Manish night.
Listen, yo, you're right.
30 seconds, guys.
It literally Manish. But you know what? Like I said, guys, my experience this past weekend in Jamaica, I had to do a quick trip and a turnaround on Spain. Beautiful island, lovely people. We have a lovely culture, and we just need to come back to where we are, so that we can, as members of the diaspora, I went down as quote unquote a tourist, but as members of the diaspora, we need to get to a point where all of Jamaica look like what I experienced. And I was telling members of my party, I said, it looks so nice and green up here and it looks so clean, but that's not indicative of the entire island.
Awesome sauce. Dr. Rupert, any big ups or any burnouts for you this week?
I am going to big up the men and women that are fighting for changes in the diaspora and Jamaica. Mainly the group Call to Action with Mr. Rattigan, myself and others like yourself and so on. And also those in South Florida. I want to big them up, the support team. We have a lot of support people here, all the ladies and gentlemen, and we're not political. Thank God for that. So we ask you to join us. Call us, join us, we'll talk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Dr. Rupert Francis. And for those of you who are listening, please remember to visit this website, OJLDF. O as in Oscar, J as in Jamaica, L as in Lincoln, D as in diaspora, F as in foundation, OJLDF. And I know that's not phonetically correct. I should say Oscar, Juliet, Lima, Delta, Frankie, or Foxtrot, but you don't know it already. OJLDF.org. Please visit that website and show some support. And as always, we thank you for being the best part of this program. And we give thanks and praise unto the Most High. He's omnipotent and true, ever liveth, ever sure. He's King of kings and Lord of lords. He's a conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah. His name is Yeshua. If you love him, praise his name. Want to big up Lion. Lion is up in the chat. Big up Lion. Want to big up everybody else up in the chat. Lisa, Debbie Bless, Fabulous. Everybody out there for nearing for time and patience. Big up to you. Elder Dell, good evening. Everyone else in the chat, thank you so much. Those of you who are locked in on the website or on the Super Jams official app, remember, just be good and just think about brand Jamaica. This is what we have to do to protect our heritage. No matter how you take it, your navel string cut there, or your parents or your grandparents' navel string cut there. And the one thing you can do is to stand up for a cause. Change happens when people are tired of sitting around and doing nothing. So again, I want to thank Mr. Wilfred Rattigan for coming on to the program today to share with us. I want to thank those of you who wanted to call, those of you who did call, those of you who called and didn't get any response. Thank you all. You're awesome. And we keep it locked right here on Super Jams Radio. Coming up after this program, the biggest, baddest DJ, may I tell you, man, she bad like Yaz. I don't know what Yaz is, but it sounds like a something bad. So I want to big up Lady Breeze, ladies and gentlemen. They say Yaz really bad, Lady Breeze, and you bad like Yaz. So she's coming up right here next on Good Evening, Mr. President. Keep it locked to your favorite one.
As I listen to Super Jams, I play.